I don't believe that I have departure rules anymore.
Okay.
I think that whatever I do is accepted as just another job. And that is a win. That's a true success because I didn't want to get pigeonholed as the ditzy blonde.
Can you break down for me how it all happened? Because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Is that Atom Egoyan was staging the opera of Salome in Toronto, the actual opera, at the same time that he was directing you in a film about the staging of Salome, a fictional film about the staging of Salome. Am I right about that?
So the only reason this movie exists was because Adam was scheduled to remount for, I think, the 7th or 8th time, Salome, back in Toronto. The last time he did it was, I think, 96. And he was scheduled to remount the play again. And from what I understand is that there was something missing. He didn't want to just remount it. He wanted to create a story around remounting it. And that's how Janine was born.
So what was that like for you to be sort of, can you talk about that from your perspective of shooting this film about something while there's an actual opera staging going on at the same time?
I don't think I'm ever going to be in this position again as an actor, as a human, to watch somebody film what's really happening to put in the movie, to film a movie about it actually happening, because normally it's an artificial happening of something. When you go behind the scenes and you're doing like a behind the scenes, behind the curtains look at a world, it's usually, you know, artificial. Like when they did the reality TV show about Unreal or whatever it was called, like they just created this TV show, but this is actually really happening, and the actual Salome remount at the Canadian Opera House is actually in the movie, and then you're turning the camera around on me, and I'm there directing them, the actors who are actually in the opera. So it's just reality is right in front of you, and everybody involved on stage is in on it when we're shooting the film. So they're at night doing their thing. They're doing Salome every couple nights in rep. And then during the day, we're using the Opera House to shoot all the scenes that are set in the Opera House.
Adam's just not sleeping at all.
It was insane. It was insane. It was a crazy idea. I cannot believe that it happened. Right. There's so many personalities and so much agenda in this movie, based on real life, of course. Like, there's madness everywhere, no matter what. We've enhanced it a little bit for this, but not by much. And we captured lightning in a bottle. We really did.
Adam said about you, talking about you, certainly some of what she's doing physically, meaning you, and her approach to directing is drawn from me. Can you give me an example of that?
I learned pretty quickly when I started talking to Adam about this role that directing an opera is very different than directing film. And he goes about it in very different ways because there's different technical aspects to each. They're very, very, very different. I mean, for instance, opera singers are he calls them athletes, and they are. It's like they're expressing themselves through their voices. They're incredible superhuman voices. And it's large. They're just, they affect you to cellular level, those performances, if they're really good. And we are just, you know, nuanced, and the camera can get so close where if you move, you'll get out of frame. It's just so different. And I am so privy to how directors work because I have a front row seat to how directors work because I'm being directed by them all the time. And so I couldn't draw from that so much as draw from watching my sister-in-law, who's a theater director, work, very different, and watching Adam work. So I just talked to him at length about it and how he's directing these people and the issues that he's had over the years of remounting Salome and the frustrations he's had that he wrote into the script. And it's a lot of information all at once, but it's easy to channel when you spend time with somebody. It's easier to channel them. And I really worked with, I used my hands a lot because he uses his hands to
Right.
talk, and so do I, but he's just, I spent enough time with Adam to kind of understand what felt more natural for me physically to take from him and what didn't. And, you mold things together.
There's how Salome has been seen historically. There's how the audience sees Salome. And then there's how your character, Janine, sees Salome. And it brings to mind conversations I've had with actors who tell me that the way that they see a character, the way that they relate to a character, that might be the way they empathize with the character, is sometimes very different than how they know the audience is going to see that character. So is there a time that you've had to do that yourself, move between how you understand a character and how the audience is going to see them?
I would like to say no. I don't. I'm more focused, and my job is to relate to the character and understand the character for the sake of the character.
Not how we see them, not how we care about them.
But unfortunately, you can't help it in some ways, because you can jump into a genre where you want to prescribe what you want. You want to manipulate the audience, and I really try not to do it, but I do sometimes think about it. I'm like, well, I kind of want the audience, because if it's a thriller, and I'm like, the last movie I just did was like I'm performing. My character is performing. She's living, like she's acting in the movie. So she is trying to, there is like a manipulation of the audience a little bit, that you want the audience to believe this person is who they say they are. But
what about in cases where like the audience, I think the character is evil, but because you've been so close to the character, you've developed like compassion for her.
Like Elizabeth Holmes, I think there's no sense in trying to control the audience, because they have their opinion of her, and we're making this regardless. And in order to tell the story, the full story, or more of a story than we've heard from the documentaries and the podcasts, I have to be the human being that she is.
Right.
Or else there's no point. Like, I'm not playing a version of her. I am playing a version of her, because I don't know what she would think, but I would say what I'm trying to do is mine the more relatable stuff. Because like everyone, she's complicated. Like everybody, Janine is multifaceted, and she can feel two different opposite things at once. That doesn't make her an asshole. That makes her human. And I'm not saying that every choice she made was beautiful, but like everybody, she makes selfish choices. She makes choices that will harm her, but she also makes choices that will, reroute her emotionally in a good way. And so it's just like anything. We really, really have no business thinking about what the audience is thinking, unless you're really trying to, unless it's a very specific genre kind of.
Yeah, man, that's so interesting. Thanks for answering that, because I think I had I'll be candid with you, maybe a little bit of a dim view about what actors do when I started this job, when I came into this gig and started talking to actors.
I mean, it depends on which actor.
Right. Yeah. And then I started to see, like really good, serious actors see it as a conduit to empathy. If they see it as a way to like think deeply and think about that, you're forced to think about the different layers of people. You're forced to not think about people as three-dimensional characters in order to embody them. And that's always been something kind of inspiring to me about the work that you do.
It is like a test to try to find empathy everywhere. I mean, you even like reading books, certain books, you can have moments of feeling. Like, the thing that I learned really early on is that hurt people. So, we want to hate the monsters of the world, but in order really to, and we want to understand, we want to know why bad things happen. And sometimes there's no reason to wonder why, but sometimes, if you do want to wonder why, it's like,
it's there.
Compassion can really make the world go round, and it's definitely like lacking, but if you can understand where we all started out as babies.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes I just picture really evil fuckers, and I just picture them like being born and completely innocent. And I think, where did they go wrong, and how do we prevent that from happening again?
When you were growing up, when you were started to want to act, who was the North Star? Was there anyone you wanted to be?
Claire Danes in Romeo and Juliet.
Why?
Romantic, beautiful Shakespeare, just so. She was so somebody. She was so real. She was so present. It was so infectious. She wasn't playing a part. She is still, to this day, just like really fantastic.
So I promise I'm building to something here. So you get out of there, you start acting, soap operas first, right?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Harder than people think, I hear.
Like 30 pages a day sometimes of memorization. What? Like what? I could never do that.
And people look down on it, but it's challenging.
Yeah, people look down on it because it's cheaper to make, I think, and because, they're just banging it out. But there are some incredible performances in those soap operas, and I learned a lot. From being on that.
Give me an example of something you learned.
I learned how to kind of discover the point of the scene quickly. I learned how to make it feel like it's my own very quickly, because we didn't have that much time, and I needed to relate as fast as possible, and I needed to know the lines. So I was just able to collect myself, and I had no time to be scared of the moment, or be scared of the camera, or be scared of the director. Like, I just didn't have time. We just had to go and do it. And I think I learned that it doesn't have to be that hard, that you don't have to get in your own way. You really, there's no time to get in your own way. It was really great. And it also really helped with memorization.
Right, so many pages every day.
My brain just, it's like learning a language.
So when does the Mean Girls thing happen? Like,
17, so the year after.
And were you going to give up? Because I heard you were going to go to college?
Well, I got fired from the show.
Why?
A new woman named Megan McTavish, I'll never forget. I was like, she ruined my life. Some writer came in and cut a lot of us.
Did you get killed
all
off?
At once? No, I wasn't important enough to get killed off. I wasn't related to anybody, but I thought that was the end of my career. I really did.
And then the Mean Girls audition. What happened in there?
They liked it so much that I ended up flying with my mom to LA for the first time ever. I was 17, and I did a screen test with Blake Lively, Lacey Chabert, and Lindsay Lohan, and I was starstruck AF by Lacey. And Blake and Lindsay, like, amazing, happy to be there. Everybody was like totally like on it. Like, it was so good. It was just such a good room. It was a good, Mark Waters was there, it was just a good room. And I couldn't believe my luck. I was just like, went to Hollywood Boulevard, walked around with my mom, took pictures.
Come on.
Flew back the next day, and then got a call saying, you know what? We have someone for Regina, but we're casting Karen. I think you'd be great as Karen. And I was like, oh, okay, just give me a few days. They ended up coming like a week later, and I worked with this same coach who actually passed away recently, Dennis Steele, who was helping me kind of find Karen, because the Regina audition was really solid and very different from the direction that everybody else went, which is why they brought me in for Karen. So honestly, it was a lot of hard work getting that. It was really hard.
How was the shooting?
The shooting was a dream, complete and utter frenzy of fun.
Like what?
Like, we go out to dinner every weekend as a group. Yeah, for sure we were here.
You were also 19, right? You were...
No, I was 17.
Oh, so you were quite, like, I was saying the drinking age wouldn't help you here. Okay.
No, I wasn't. No, we were drinking, but we would see movies. We would go out. We would take pictures. I was eating everything I saw on set because it was all free, and I was just not used to it. And my mom had to live with me because I was not emancipated, even though I had graduated, because I graduated when I was 17 because I just went to school early for some reason. And it was weird because my boyfriend would visit. My mom would have to sleep on the couch. Anyway, it was a dream come true. And no one knew it was going to be such a huge hit. And now it's like the movie. It's not Mamma Mia, it's Mean Girls.
There's a world post Mean Girls where, I don't know, you play Mean Girls-y characters forever. And I love Mean Girls incredibly. There's a I don't know how to put this. There's a path you could have gone down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to figure it out because you were in Chloe, of course, with Atom Egoyan, and then we talked about Elizabeth Holmes earlier.
That was one of the big diversions, Chloe.
You said, I've always been kind of sprinkling in these challenging, quote unquote, departure roles since I was young. I was always trying to somehow prove that I can go any way and play any role. But I don't know, these movies get lost and you end up being known for Mamma Mia, which is beautiful. I wonder if you could tell me about these departure roles, like Seven Veils. Or like, what is it you're looking for in these departure roles, even though they might not be the first thing people ask you about?
I don't think... Well, here's the cool thing is, I don't believe that I have departure roles anymore.
Okay.
I think that whatever I do is accepted as just another job. And that is a win. That's a true success because I didn't want to get pigeonholed as the ditzy blonde because as fun as it was to play Karen Smith, not everybody's going to write such a perfect character. I as soon as I finished Mean Girls, I did Big Love and Veronica Mars, these two shows that were on simultaneously, and had a lot of fun doing that, and both totally different than Karen, but still blonde ingenues. And I knew that the ingenue thing was totally fine, but I also knew that I needed to prove something as soon as humanly possible, because people do not offer you those roles. You have to search for them. And I've had the same agent since I was 17, since Mean Girls. She's actually over there. And she understood the task at hand, and we went flying into the night looking for those good roles. And some I would get and some I wouldn't. I mean, Jennifer's Body was wacky, and I was playing like the nerdy girl, and that was like a win, like a true win. I auditioned a lot for that. I got it. I was very deliberate about what I wanted to do, also knowing that I wasn't getting offered everything, and also knowing that like I had to work my ass off to get these roles. And Chloe was the first true departure that I was given, the opportunity that I was given, where I was going to show the industry, whoever wanted to partake in it, that I was serious. And in order to show seriousness, you had to do things that felt risky. And sometimes things that felt risky, and these are all in quotes, this is how I understood it, was getting, doing something sexual, doing something empowering. I am playing a sex worker, and that was just pushing all the boundaries for someone my age. And I was fully into it. And then the next departure I did, again, erotic. But I'm telling you, it worked. It worked. The industry at Lovelace. I did it. It was a risk. It was a risk. Everybody said it was a risk, but I'm like, up for the challenge. I can do this. And it's also going to completely fulfill me and challenge me. And I need to be challenged. And there's a lot of actors that are just going to tell you that they're just looking for the next challenge and they're not going to do it.
I'm just happy that Adam gave you that first big departure, and I'm happy you're back working with him again. And I love it. Listen, I hope we get another time. I just love getting the chance to talk to you.
Thanks. Yeah, me too. Thanks. I like the way you talk, and thanks for asking good questions. I'm sorry it's so one-sided.
No, man, I like the way you talk too. You kidding me? You said beautiful stuff. Thanks for doing this.
Bye. No kidding. No, let's do it again.
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
My guest has been the actor Amanda Seyfried.
Bye.
Bye.